How's everybody this evening? Doing all right? Oh man, we got a whole bunch of people online. A whole bunch of people in here. It's good. Good to see you. Y'all are thrilled to be here this evening. Thank you, David. It is so good to see you. Oh my goodness. Wow. Let me see. Who else we got? We got Madison. She's online. Madison. And a couple others. Awesome. Good to see y'all. Thanks for coming out this evening. We've got some stuff we're going to do. And just before we get there, let me show all the stuff I need to show. This is our Facebook page. If you haven't been there, that's where you sign up for the parents' newsletter or the regular newsletter, and that's where you go to text. If you want to text stuff, if you want to get texted stuff to you about stuff that's coming up. Speaking of stuff that's coming up, here's the stuff that's coming up. Sunday school. Sunday school. Sunday school, Sunday. Be there, 9 o'clock. We're on lesson 21. We're talking about 22. 20. The first murder. Oh, it ought to be a good one. Anybody remember who that was?
No, that was the first death.
That's the first death. Cain and Abel. Yeah, who murdered who? Okay. Who was their mom and daddy? Thank you. I'm just checking to make sure you're all still awake out there. They were in a conversation here earlier. It's all right. Yeah. Sunday school. Come, be part, enjoy. It's a lot of fun. Next week we're going to do a series starting in February, the whole month of February, called No Regrets. It is all about dating and relationships. I always do this every February, and everybody's like, "Why?" Because you don't get it. No. Honestly, it's just a habit. However, more importantly than second to the Word of God is the Super Bowl. We are having a Super Bowl party right here in this room. We'll be showing the Chiefs and the Patriots, and you're only, that's right. It's not the Patriots. It's the other Tom Brady team. It's the Bucks. The last Tom Brady team. I don't know. He made it all the way to the Super Bowl. I doubt that. No, I doubt that. They'll still keep going. You kidding me? Anyway, Kansas City and San Francisco. That's not even right. Holy cow. So anyway, we got a Super Bowl that's coming up. It's on February 7th, 6 o'clock. Your only admission is food to get in. So bring something food-wise. And we'll all share the COVID genes all the way around. It'll be a lot of fun. We're going to have she won't be here. That's it. Yeah. Yeah. No. Last time Felicia dropped food off and left, so she better get on it. So anyway, yeah, Super Bowl party. Just come and chill and hang out. It'll be on the big screens and all that kind of stuff. Homeschool ministry meeting next Tuesday, or February the 9th, not next Tuesday, but February the 9th. If you guys, I know some of you guys are on and off schedules, and whatever the case may be, just come. We just hang out in here. We play games. It's fun. So if you just want to get away from the parents and you're not in class, you're on your off day or whatever the case may be, or even if you're in class and you want to kind of Zoom from here, we'll give you the password for the Wi-Fi, and you can check in and then check out, like most of you do anyway, and come and enjoy it. There's whatever, And then March, we're doing a series that's called Heroes. It's about heroes. There you go. and that's it. Tonight, we are talking about, come on, there it is, the masks we wear. This is the last one that we're doing for this. And so tonight we're talking about the mask of labels. Labels. It'll be a lot of fun. But before we get there, as always, we're going to get you all warmed up here and play a game. It's called Bad Brands. And the way this works is you're going to be shown an abandoned brand name of a famous company. See if you can determine what brand they eventually became. Okay? So I'm going to give you a brand across the top, and you have to figure out of the choices that are there which one it really was. So here's the first one. Brad's Drink. A, B, C, or D. Pepsi, Snapple, Gatorade, or Dr. Pepper. Which one do you think it was? Jeb's going with that. You're going with Gatorade. Jeb's just guessing. A bunch of people are saying Snapple. Jeb's going with it. Just Pepsi. That's it. Just ooh. All right. Nobody said Dr. Pepper. Why? Well, Crystal and Madison are both saying it's Snapple. So you're going with Pepsi just cause? It's just called Bad Brand. So the name is what they originally were going to be called, and then this is what they actually are called. And they are actually called Pepsi. How did you know that? Oh, look at there. They're in New Bern? The original Pepsi store's in New Bern? How about that? Really? That's why I drink Coca-Cola. All right, so here's the next one. The Sound of Music. Is it iTunes, Best Buy, Virgin, or MTV? Which one you got? You're going with MTV. MTV was the Sound of Music? You're going with Virgin Records. I heard Virgin Records. Actually, I'm sorry, it's not just Virgin Records anymore, it's Virgin. It used to be. There actually used to be a Virgin Records store. They were few and far between. Most of them were in New York City. No, that was Tower Records. I think they're still there. Yeah, that's right. That's right. There was. You're just going to say Best Buy just because? iTunes, the Sound of Music. That would make sense, right? Apple iTunes. You're going to Best Buy. Y'all are killing me. Well, Crystal's saying it's iTunes. A. Madison's going with D. What's that one? MTV. The correct answer is Best Buy. It was Best Buy. There you go, Davis. Good guess, I think. Alrighty. Bad brands. What about this one? Back rub. Was it Yelp, Yahoo, Amazon, or Google? Really? You think so? Davis is just going off the terrain here and saying it's Google. Well, he'd be right again. It is definitely Google. It is definitely Google. Can you imagine? Yeah. Yeah, right? I'm going to get on back rub today. Search a back rub. Do a back rub search. Let's do. What did you say? Tell me later. All right, so yeah, anyway, moving right along. How about this one? Quantum Computer Services. Dell, Microsoft, AOL, or HP? A couple of Dells, a couple of HPs. Anybody say Microsoft? You said Microsoft? Does anybody know what AOL even is anymore? Your grandpa had one of those? Do you know what it stands for, AOL? That's and Shannon has just officially lost her mind. Yeah, that's the one where. Alrighty. But before it was America Online, it was Quantum Computer Service. That's the one that popped. You've got mail, you know? Nobody knows what that says. Okay, but anyway. Okay. Blue Ribbon Sports. Blue Ribbon Sports. Adidas, ESPN, Nike, or Dick's Sporting Goods. Blue Ribbon Sports. Swoosh. Just do it. Swoosh. ESPN, the Adidas blue. It is blue, right? That's blue? Yeah. No, it's whatever it really needs. Nike's the same way. They're kind of all over the place. Mostly white. ESPN's almost always red. And Dick's logo hasn't changed in forever. So which one is it? Yeah? Okay. It's Nike. It is Nike. I don't know. Blue Ribbon Sports. All right, for all of our... No, I don't even know how to do this. Cosmere. Cosmere. Is it A, Conair, B, Lexus, L'Oreal, or Acura? Cosmere. That was a movie, by the way. Conair. No. It was a movie. Nicolas Cage, yeah. Acura. You're going with Acura just because. Just because. Well, the correct answer would be indeed L'Oreal, yes. Uh-huh. How about this one? Tokyo Telecommunications Engineering Corporation. I'm so glad they changed it, whatever it is. TIAC, you mean? So, yeah, Samsung, Sony, Nintendo, or TIAC. What's that? They're all Asian companies, I think. I think so. You're going with TIAC? David's going with TIAC. Well, Crystal says it's Sony. Madison's going with Nintendo. I think it's just because she likes Nintendo. However, the correct answer is Sony. It is indeed Sony. Look at there. How about this one? Research in Motion. Segway, CNN, Audi, or BlackBerry. Does anybody know, you guys, does anybody over here know, it's a phone. That's all you know, it's is a phone. You hit a what? A roller ball, yeah. A little thumb roller ball. That was kind of fun. Yeah. Oh, wait a minute. So let's see. Well, Madison says it's Segway. Crystal says it's BlackBerry. You're going with CNN. Do you know what CNN stands for? The what? No. No, it is not the Clinton News Network. That would be cable news. That's it. That's it. That what? The Clowns News Network. So anyway, research in motion. Woo-hoo. Before this goes out, yeah, it is BlackBerry. That's right. They're gonna think we're a bunch of racial haters. I'm waiting for the black vans to pull up outside. The Il Giornale. It's fragile. Il Giornale coffee company. Yeah, Folgers, Gevalia, Starbucks, or IKEA. IKEA. Oh my goodness. Starbucks, really? Gevalia, I could see Gevalia. IKEA, I know it's not IKEA because number one, they're not a coffee company, and they're Swedish. So ancient times. That's right. That's right. I've seen Folgers in ancient Egypt hieroglyphics before. The correct answer would be Starbucks. Yes, it is. How about this one for all of my app fans? Peekaboo or Peekabo. Peekabo. Snapchat or Instagram or Facebook or Skype. Either Skype or Snapchat. Madison says it's A. Crystal says it's Instagram. Skype. Yeah, all right. Well, the correct answer is definitely Snapchat. Tiebreaker. We have a tiebreaker. Here we go. No, I won't do the tiebreaker because none of you will ever guess that. It's just a random guess. All right, here you go. Making Young Lives Count. Is it Youth Specialties, Simply Youth Ministry, DYM, which is Download Youth Ministry, or Group? These are all youth curriculum type things. You're going with Download Youth. See, Download Youth Ministry is the guys who sponsor all of this sort of stuff. Simply Youth Ministry. I think they were before Download Youth Ministry. Youth Specialties was the original. The guy who sponsored that is Mike Yaconelli. And Group is kind of a big curriculum company, but they've done a lot of stuff with youth. So which one is it? Not necessarily. B. Jennifer's going with B. The correct answer is B. There it is. Bad Brands. Yes. Oh my goodness. Whatever. That works. Tonight we are finishing up the masks we wear. And it's the final part. Tonight we're talking about labels. Not like label makers, labels. And honestly, we just played a game that's all about labels, right? Because it's all about brands and stuff like that. Let me ask you a question. How many of you have ever felt labeled in your life? You know? Fat, skinny, white, black, indifferent, ugly, all of the above. You know? Something said about you, it kind of marked you in a big way, right? It could have been when you were 8 years old, or it could have been yesterday. Somebody that said something that stung, can't shake it, can't forget it. That kind of thing kind of lives with you. It creeps up and plays on repeat in those moments when you're in certain locations. Maybe when you're alone with your thoughts, or when you're feeling really inadequate. It could be that someone said that you're stupid, or you're ugly, or you're a sissy, or you're never going to measure up. Someone based your looks on a number scale, you know. Well, I rate that person as a 3. You know, or said that your dreams will never come true. Let me help you out. When I was in school, they didn't have AP classes. They had AT classes. And instead of it being advanced placement, AT classes were what were called academically talented. And for whatever reason, under God's green earth, they placed me in an academically talented class. The deal was is that my parents, they were this new school experiment that they had going on. It was in elementary school, and they had you take this test, and at the end of this test, they graded you, and depending on where you were, depended on if you would be placed in this new class that they had. I placed in the top 1% of the entire school to be placed in this academically talented class. And so it was a class that they created. I think it started in 2nd grade, if I remember correctly. But it was a class that you would be in for your entire elementary, middle school life. So you never, your peers were exactly the same. You never had anybody different in your class. Your teachers were different, but you kept with the same, I think it was like 20 students for 6 years was the idea. I don't know what happened. But anyway, you'd be sticking together for the next however many years. And it was all because, for whatever reason, I tested in this top 1%. I always test well. I don't do so well once I take the test, I guess, but I tested well. One of the things that I was doing in this particular class was I was doing, anybody here do algebra? Yeah? You know, if I say quadratic equation, you know what I'm talking about? X equals minus b plus or minus the square root of b squared all over 4ac, right? Got it? More or less. I was doing that in 2nd grade. And there you go. Yeah, I was doing it in 2nd grade. It was just something that, they dropped in front of me and they're like, here, figure this out. Okay, and I did. We were studying Greek literature in 2nd grade. This was the kind of class that it was. It was tough, it was hard. It was tough. The problem was that in this particular class, I was also labeled as a smart kid by all of my other peers. Now, one of the things I did growing up was I played baseball. And, I wasn't great, but I like to play. I played catcher because, fat kids don't run. So the deal is sorry, it's just and they also can stop a ball because we're wider. But the idea is I played baseball, so I played catcher. The kids that I went to church with, I played ball with, they weren't in my class. And so what happened was, when I was on a ball team, there was this label that you cannot be smart and play ball at the same time, You can't be smart and be an athlete is kind of the way that it was growing up for me. I don't know why, it just was. And so, that not only was the kids, my friends that were around me, it was like, well, you can't be smart and play ball at the same time, It was the coaches. They're like, oh, well, you're a geek, you're a nerd, you're doing all this kind of stuff. So we'll have you and we'll play, but you'll play bench. That was my position on ball teams because I was smart, just labeled that way. And so they treated me like a smart kid, rather. It finally got so bad I was asked to be pulled from the class in like 4th grade. I'm like, I can't do this anymore. Not that I couldn't do the work, but I didn't want the label that was there, that went along with it, so that I could play ball and I could be the average kid, and all that kind of stuff. And the problem was that particular label for me really sat with me for a long, long time, because even though I wasn't in the class, everybody was like, oh, he's the smart kid. And so now I'm in 4th grade, 5th grade, and they're doing stuff that average 4th graders and 5th graders are doing, And I'm blowing through it pretty quick, and so it's like, oh, he's still the smart kid, so it doesn't matter what class you're in. And it was just this giant label that I carried with me all the way through middle school until I got finally to 10th grade. There was a teacher in 10th grade. His name is Mr. Ridley. He is my hero. If you can ever have a teacher, you always have that one teacher that you just really, really like. This guy was one of the few teachers. Not only was he a good teacher, because he was the one who really taught me English grammar, all about it. I mean, ins and outs, man. I could diagram sentences and, pull out prepositions and gerunds and the whole bit, and, he had us doing it on the board, and it was a fun game and all of that kind of stuff. Anyway, he also took me aside in 10th grade and said that it was possible not only to be smart, but also to be athletic. And he really helped me and convinced me through that. And I'm thankful that I had a teacher who believed in me and helped me take off that mask that I had allowed other people to kind of force on me that whole time. See, I think we put the labels mask on a lot from time to time. We start to believe the lies that what someone else has said about us is the final word, and it may not even be something that has to do with you. It could be parents, maybe you're dealing with separated parents, so now you're a divorced kid, or you're a this, and they just label you. But understand this, there is only one person who gets to say who you are, and that is God. God is the only one who gets to say who you are. He says in 1 John 3:1, it says, "See what great love the Father has lavished on us, that we should be called children of God." And that is what we are. The reason the world does not know us is that it did not know Him. See, this is only one aspect of the labels mask. I think there's actually 3 ways that labels have falsely defined us. They're stealing joy, they're stealing hope, and the health of a relationship. I mean, they're causing us to live confused about who we really are. Here they are. Here's the 3 ways that masks falsely define us. Number 1, we let others label us. Number 2, we label ourselves. And number 3, we label others. And we're going to talk about all of those tonight. First one, we let others label us. That's the easiest one to recognize. When I asked if you've ever been labeled, it probably didn't take you long to access a memory that somebody has labeled you in which somebody called you something hurtful. And here's what I think God says about that. It's kind of small, but you get the idea. It says, "I'm astonished that you are so quickly deserting the one who called you to live in the grace of Christ and are turning to a different gospel, which is really no gospel at all. Evidently, some people are throwing you into confusion and are trying to pervert the gospel of Christ. But even if we or an angel from heaven should preach a gospel other than the one who preached to you, let them be under God's curse. As we've already said, so now I say again, if anybody is preaching to you a gospel other than the one you accepted, let them be under God's curse." Am I now trying to win the approval of human beings or of God? Or am I trying to please people? If I were still trying to please people, I would not be a servant of Christ. So, yeah, the gospel, the truth, the good news, right? People try to tell us, and we kind of equate that to, that's the gospel of Jesus Christ, the story of Jesus Christ. People are telling you that. But the truth also means that you are a child of God. And if people try to tell you something different, don't believe them. You shouldn't. You don't have to. But there's 2 other ways I think that we're living behind masks, and these may be a little bit difficult to pinpoint, but I think they're equally as destructive. Number 2 is we label ourselves. And you might be thinking, isn't that what we're supposed to be doing? Don't we get to decide who we want to be? Can't we be anything if we put our minds to it? Don't I get to determine what feels right and what I believe? Well, that's what culture tells you. Media, textbooks, celebrities, teachers, authors, musicians, articles, friends, even our families can often give us this, what's called a postmodern message, that you determine your own reality. You determine your own reality. You make your own reality. There's an old 90s movie that describes what I'm talking about. If I show this, anybody know what I'm talking about? The Mighty Ducks. It is. It's a great movie. If you get a chance, this is one I can recommend because it's clean. But it's on Netflix. Watch it. But in it, there's this guy whose name is Gordon Bombay. That's the guy in the middle, the coach. And as a kid, he was destined to be a hockey star, right? He defines himself that way as a winner and as a hockey player. The problem is that when we define our own identity on anything other than Jesus, you will be disappointed completely. Doesn't matter how you label yourself. And throughout the movie, he struggles. It's not a religious movie at all. It doesn't talk anything about Jesus. But the deal is that he tries to label himself as a winner. I'm a winner. I'm a hockey player. I'm a winner. And he gets this team of misfit kids who can barely skate, let alone play hockey, and tries to, he has to relearn what does it mean to, not necessarily label yourself and not be disappointed in that way. So the problem with giving ourselves labels about our identity is they don't work. And they might in the moment, but if we base our entire identity on something we feel or do or we want, we'll soon realize that those things can blow away with the wind. And they often change in life. Ecclesiastes 2:1 or 2:11 says this, "But as I looked at everything I had worked so hard to accomplish, it was all so meaningless, like chasing the wind. There was nothing really worthwhile anywhere." The irony is that particular verse comes from the wisest man who ever lived. So let me give you an example. There are a lot of, when we talk about athletes, and especially with the Super Bowl coming up, let's say you identify on being a football player, okay? And then somewhere in your early career, I'll give you an example. What's his name? He was the quarterback. He was the Heisman Trophy winner last year. Played for Ohio State. Anyway, big top dude, number one pick that was out there. Real nice guy. But he was the top pick of the NFL this year. About halfway through the season, he got sacked, tackled, and tore his ACL. Done. For the year, maybe even for his career if they can't ever get it repaired. And the thing is that you're out for the rest of the season. Who are you? You base your entire identity on your career as a football player. Now who are you? You may base your entire identity on being his girlfriend, and then you break up. Who are you? If you spend your whole life studying and training or fighting for a certain cause or to get into a certain school or a certain job, what happens when you actually get the thing you wanted? It won't be enough. You feel empty. You got to have something else. It's this constant struggle of you've got to have, and you'll never be satisfied. Why? Because we were made by God, and our hearts will always be searching for our value or identity or purpose until we find those things in Jesus alone. That's it. You will constantly be searching for something to replace that God-sized hole in your heart. And God is the only one who can replace that God-sized hole in your heart. You'll be looking for whatever. You'll get in every relationship you can possibly have because you're looking for love, Or you'll get into relationships and you'll compromise your integrity and your morals because you're looking for something that dad didn't give you or mom didn't give you, but God would. These are the kind of things. We not only put on the mask of what others have labeled us, but when we label ourselves anything other than a child of God, living for Him and doing things His way, we're still wearing a mask and you're not truly free. Which ultimately leads to the third way we allow labels to influence us, and that is we begin labeling others. And it's hard to see this one too. Now, we don't like to think of ourselves as a bully or judgmental or as having the ability to say something that can change someone's life for the worse, but Matthew 7, 1 through 2, judge not, that you be not judged. For with the judgment you pronounce, you will be judged. And with the measure you use it, will be measured to you. We do this when we talk about people behind their backs. Or even when we just laugh at them by association. Or we do this when we talk down about brothers or sisters. Or we do this when we ignore people who we think are weird, we don't like, or we might affect the way others think about us. So what's the answer to the identity crisis? How do you take the masks off, and how do we live without the labels? Shannon is going to pass out to everybody. Sorry, she just sat down. She's going to pass out. These are blank name tags. And on the blank name tag, I think we have enough for the students anyway. On the blank name tag, while I'm telling the next story and as she's passing out these blank name tags, go ahead. You're going to write the word his, H-I-S, capital H-I-S, on your name tag. Yeah, you're gonna need a pen. But write that on your name tag, H-I-S, and just stick it over your heart, okay? H-I-S. Might be easier while they're still on the sheet, but that's okay. H-I-S. I don't know. Oh, okay. Well, there you go. Just put his. H-I-S. While you're doing that, here's what I want you to listen to. Anybody ever read the book, The Chronicles of Narnia? You know what I'm talking about? Am I the only geek in here that read The Chronicles of Narnia? Oh, good. Several of my nerd friends. Familiar with The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe? Yeah? Or saw the movie, maybe? C.S. Lewis. There is another book in the series that's called The Horse and His Boy. Okay? That's part of the series, The Horse and His Boy. And spoiler alert, I'm about to ruin the ending for you, but oh well. So the entire book, there it is about, guess what? The horse and his boy. Okay? It's about a servant boy whose name was Shasta, okay? Who runs away from his unloving and harsh master who's a fisherman. And so together with his new friend happens to be a talking horse, okay? And so Shasta goes off on an adventure to save the world. And at the end, he arrives at the king's palace. So here's Shasta. He arrives at the king's palace just in time to warn him about an approaching enemy that's on the way. And throughout the whole story, Shasta sees everything about himself as an orphaned servant boy with no home and no purpose. And in the end, we find out, here's the spoiler, he's actually the king's son who was kidnapped as a baby, and he's a prince. But for his entire life, he didn't live that way. He lived with this mask that was on, like the mask of being a servant, and labeled as a servant, and then labeled himself as a servant, and begin to look at other people based on the labels that he was on. Here's the thing. Everybody in this room, or everybody that has one, has a label right now that says his. You are a prince or a princess. You're a child of the king. You're his. And now you've got a label to prove it. Like you needed the label to prove it. But that's the point. The God who created this world and knows how it works best is a good king. He's both loving and just. And to be his heir means you no longer need to search for your identity. You're his. Period. That's it. What others have said about you no longer sticks because you're royalty. Isn't that amazing? You don't even need land. You're royalty. What culture feeds you about what and who you should be kind of seems silly. You're royalty. What you've told yourself about who you are and what you are seems pretty small in comparison to what the King says about you, but who you truly are, right? And because of your newfound status, you can treat others with dignity and respect because it's different, you know. Now that you're a prince, a princess, you can walk around, I'm a prince, you know, not being all haughty and conceited about it, but now you've got status. You've got pride in who you are. You've got this incredible air of, wow, I'm no longer this lowly peasant. I'm a prince. I'm a princess. And so this evening, one of the things we're going to do is I'm going to close a little differently than just closing with a prayer and sending you all on your way and thank you very much for coming and all that kind of stuff. We're going to close by singing this evening. And it's a song that we've sung before all the pandemic stuff that hit. But it's a great song that would help to take off the masks we've talked about, and one that talks about being a child of God, a child of the King. And so we're going to sing that song. Before we do, one of the reasons why I've chosen to sing. Anybody know the difference? You've left brain, right brain. Does that make sense? Yeah. I am blessed, if you will. I have a balanced left brain, right brain. I think left brain, administrative, very straight type A personality. I like charts and figures and statistics and math and stuff like that. You know, all that kind of stuff. I love to schedule and write lists, and that's the left side of me. But God's blessed me with an ability to sing, talent, music, and all that kind of stuff. Occasionally, I find myself getting clogged up, if that makes sense. The easy fix for me is, you know, left brain, make a list, go figure out a schedule, go do something like that. The problem is, I don't do enough right brain unclogging. And the way you right brain unclog is in church is we worship. We just let it go. So tonight, I don't know if it's you, you know, when we're talking about labels, unclog your right brain. Just let it go. You know, don't worry about the person next to you. Don't worry about how you sound. Don't worry about what they're going to say. Sing to God. Unclog your right brain. And guess what? Left brain gets involved in that too. Because it is the only time when we worship and we sing when both sides of your brain come together, because you're singing words with music. And the two of them come together and you're able to give it all to God. We're supposed to worship God with all our heart, soul, mind, and strength, right? So we're going to go ahead and do that. Everybody stand up. And we're gonna sing. This is a song we sang before the pandemic. It was one that fit very well. And the name of the song is No Longer Slaves. Let me get the right one up there. There we go. Ready, Ada? Right? We'll sing the chorus. I'm no longer a slave to fear. I am a child of God. I'm no longer a slave to fear. I am a child of God. You unravel me with a melody. You surround me with a song of deliverance from my enemies, till all my fears are gone. I'm no longer a slave of fear. I am a child of God. I'm no longer a slave to fear. a child of God. From my mother's womb, you have chosen me. Your love has called my name. I've been born again into your family. Your blood flows through my veins. I'm no longer a slave to fear. I am a child of God. I'm no longer a slave to fear. I am a child of God. Sing that again. I'm no longer a slave to fear. I am a child of God. I'm no longer a slave to fear. I am a child of God. You split the sea so I could walk right through it. My fears were drowned in perfect love. You rescued me so I can stand and sing. I am a child of God. Sing that again. You split the sea so I can walk right through it. My fears were drowned in perfect love. You rescued me so I can stand and sing. I am a child of God. I am a child. I am a child of God. I am a child of God. Let's pray together. Father, we are yours. You are our King. We are princes and princesses. We are heirs to your throne. Help us never to forget that we are yours. Lord, as we go through days and weeks and months ahead, and people in the world and media and culture, friends, family, try to label us, help us to never forget whose we are. And help us to grow deeper in love with you. Lord, if there's a person in here who doesn't know who you are, help them to know right now that there's not a person alive on the planet who is not worth the blood of your Son, Jesus Christ, that died for them. Help them to understand that you came to pay the penalty for the brokenness of our world, that the only way that we'll ever experience joy and peace and patience, eternity with you, true love, is through your Son, Jesus Christ. Lord, my prayer is that if there's someone in here who needs Jesus, that they could put away the labels, they could put away the masks, they can open their heart, know that you died for them, and know that you want to be there for them for the rest of your life, for the rest of their life, for all of eternity. Father, for the rest of us who are believers in Jesus, may we live for you. May we live as heirs to the throne that you provide, as princes and prince, for you are King in this kingdom that you've provided for us. Thank you for all that you do. It's in Jesus' holy name that we pray. Amen. Thank you, folks.